Hi, this is Diana with CookingCronies.com, here this morning to share my breakfast casserole recipe with you. Hope you enjoy it. For my recipe, I start with a hot skillet and I add 1 pound of pork sausage. In the recipe today, I'm using King Soopers spicy pork sausage. You can use plain sausage if you'd like, but we like the spicy version. I use a half an onion. I'm going to dice it. Actually, I'm going to put it in my food processor. I'm going to use a few peppers, not the hot version, but just the small peppers for flavor. So in my skillet, I'm starting to brown the pork. This is going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. I don't like my skillet too hot, but I do like it hot to start with. So it's going to be a medium high flame on that. In my food processor, I've added the onion and the peppers, and I'm going to pulverize it. So you can see it's kind of a sand quality to it. And then once my pork is done browning, as you can see, I'm using a special tool that actually helps make the pieces of the sausage smaller. So I really like this tool that I have, and it just keeps the chunks from being too big. So I'm adding the onion and pepper mixture to the meat mixture, and I'm going to incorporate it into the skillet so that it's mixed well. I normally use hash browns, but I didn't have any in my freezer, and I had French fries, so that's what I'm using as my potatoes. And again, I put those in my food processor and am going to chop those up fairly fine. So you can see there are some bigger pieces in that, but that's okay. They don't have to be uniform. So then I'm going to pour that into the meat, onion, and pepper mixture and get that all incorporated and heated thoroughly. While that's heating, I am going to break 1 dozen eggs into a mixing bowl. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to also spray a big baking dish. I believe it's 9 by 12, could be wrong, 13 somewhere. Anyway, it's the long cake pan, and I'm spraying it with Pam. As you can see, you can use the butter flavor. I just had original on hand, so that's what I'm using to coat my pan. There's my eggs in the bowl, and I'm mixing them. I don't want to whip them, but I want to make sure that they are beat well. Then I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. This just helps the consistency of the egg. I put it in everything. I like it in my scrambled eggs. I like it in my omelets. So I put it in this recipe as well. And the garlic powder, I use probably a half a teaspoon. More for you can use whatever your taste buds tell you like the best. So I'm going to beat all of that together, make sure it's incorporated well. Then my stove mixture is pretty well incorporated, so I am going to take it off of the stove and pour that directly into my baking dish. I want to make sure it's pretty evenly placed in the baking dish before I add the eggs in. So here I am pouring the egg mixture in. I want to make sure that it's evenly dispersed. And you can see that's what it's going to look like. Your meat mixture will probably be greater than the egg, but it will rise, I guarantee it. So I used the Fiesta blend cheese. You can use whatever you have on hand. Sharp cheddar goes really well with this recipe as well. And I probably used a cup, maybe a tad more, and I sprinkled it evenly over the casserole. You can see I bake it for 45 minutes at a 350 degree preheated oven. And you try not to open your oven while that's cooking, because it does add more cooking time to your casseroles. So that's where I start. It's placed in the oven. Here's the finished product of the casserole once it's done. You can see how the cheese has melted over it pretty well. And then there's a chunk already taken out so that you can see what the center looks like. You should test it with a toothpick and make sure that your eggs are fully cooked. Your toothpick should come out dry. If it comes out wet, you need to leave it in the oven a few minutes longer. And then there is a picture of it before my husband took a bite. So this is something that I make well in advance. We cut it into serving size pieces. We can freeze it. We put it in the refrigerator, and it's a quick go-to breakfast for anyone that wants it. So that's my recipe, and I hope you enjoy it. Have a great day.